Remington Steele won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about Clerks. So this was the movie that I was most curious about rewatching, because I really don't believe I've seen it since it came out.
Right.
And I hated it. But I thought, because over the years I have become somewhat of a Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
There's movies of it. I love Dogma.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him in Live Free and Die Hard. I thought he was funny. I know everybody hates it, but I like Cop Out. I thought Bruce Willis
That was funny.
and Tracy Jordan's gold in that. Look, is he a great filmmaker? No. And he would say it himself. He's just a sloppy doppy that got to make moves. And it's, but he's got a chunk of fans that don't care that he's got little to no talent as a filmmaker. And, look.
He's not a bad writer. I mean, I think that some of his monologues are really good.
He's become much better of a writer, yes. Watching this, I've always described it as really bad acting in a two-shot. And I noticed there were extra shots. There weren't all two shots this time.
Hey, there was at least one or two inserts.
Oh, yeah, here's my insert.
A lot of the cat.
But I did not think this was well written. I thought if you have enough dialogue in a movie, which is, the script must have been 215 pages. If you have enough dialogue, some of it's going to be clever.
Yeah.
I
mean, the plot was simple, but it came around. I mean, it's obviously very character based. I really think that if they had kept the original ending, which we'll talk about later, I think it would have been more impactful as a movie,
and would have saved us from any sort of sequels.
But yeah, it was funny for me because this was 2 years before I was in film school,
right?
And so
this was 2 years after I was in film school,
right? So it was very much for me. It was like, oh, you can do this. Like, just do it. Much like for him, like he saw Slacker and was like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah,
and that's what it was for me. Unfortunately, the reason that you don't ever see any other big movies like this is because this one was bad enough that everything after was even worse.
It's anomalous. It's an anomaly.
And it's just bad. It's not. I mean, it's so funny because I don't disagree with you on any of your critiques of this movie.
This is the reverse of Highlander.
But I still really like this movie.
I get it. It's also a nostalgia thing, and I get it. And I get being a younger person. Ooh, there's so many taboos, and ooh, there's so many things. Oh, dirty language, and oh my gosh, necrophilia, and oh, here we go. They're going to play hockey on the roof. Oh my God, these guys are crazy. I get it.
Wow.
But I get it. But for me, being out of school and trying to do what he was doing.
Actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And how hard it was, and how hard we worked on stuff. And then just to see this half-assed, half-baked, badly shot, horribly acted, ridiculous student film become so huge. And this was literally released a week after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Which, I still am a huge Tarantino fan because that was aspirational to me. It was like watching Reservoir Dogs was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
That is ridiculously good.
Good
Small
writing,
budget.
yes.
He got a cast. It was just taut. And you knew this guy was going to be something.
Sure.
You knew this was one to watch. And then when Pulp Fiction came out, it cemented it as this guy was, he was our auteur, he was my generation's Scorsese or whatever you want to call it, I don't think he's not, nobody's going to ever be Scorsese to me. Scorsese's the master.
Yeah, sure.
To me. I'm just saying to me, because that's the guy that I, that made me fall in love with independent film.
Right.
And really real gritty filmmaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like good filmmaking. He and Coppola,
Sure. Sure.
And then Tarantino, Tarantino had such a unique point of view and such a unique way of doing things and such a love for cinema that went into his work. It just was like, it was inspirational.
Yeah, sure.
So then going to see Clerks, right after seeing this amazing second feature from this amazing new director, and then seeing this was a bloated version of just about every movie that I saw in film school, except there was no gun. That was the only thing, and I was waiting for there to be a gun because, oh boy, they probably had a shot with a gun, and then the guy came in later, and we'll talk about the ending. Spoiler, but the alternate unused ending, the alternate facts.
I don't think there was though. I think that's the whole point. Is the ending was supposed to be very surprising.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, I had to deal with the fact that Clerks spawned so many of these college films that I had to sit through.
Oh my God!
For 4 years.
We talked about this yesterday. You were absolutely right about this too. So in the 70s, there was an independent film movement.
Yeah.
You had Cassavetes, you had
guys that were really
Dennis Hopper
outside of the system.
Exactly. These guys that were making these anti-establishment, subversive movies, with like murder and nudity and drugs and stuff that was never really in films before. And the studios were scared of these movies.
Yeah.
And then they realized, well, they can make money. So, cut to 1990s, Tarantino comes up, and then Clerks, and then so every studio head is looking for the next Kevin Smith, the next this. So we get, Boondock Saints, and we get all these crap movies, from these crap directors and that was what was so frustrating as a young filmmaker because, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near as talented as any of these guys, okay?
Sure.
I'm not comparing myself to them, but I'm comparing the work, and you work really hard, and nothing comes of it or whatever. It's like I spent 5 years working on a film, and very little, great critical response,
not a lot of return.
But
on that.
I mean, we missed the mark. We missed the mark because. This was the golden era of independent cinema, the mid-90s.
Yeah.
You could make something and get attention. My friend, a good friend of mine, he made this movie, I think it was like the $50 movie. I made a movie for $50. He got a little blurb in the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah. He had a screening. Industry people came.
Yeah.
I went. It was awful. I mean,
it wasn't the greatest thing you've ever seen.
No, it was just a camcorder in a car, and two guys trying to have an interesting conversation, but it wasn't. I mean, I will give him this. I will give Kevin Smith this. Is like I said, if you have enough dialogue, it's going to be interesting.
Right.
But it was interesting enough to sustain the movie, and watching not a knockoff, but an attempt to do a gimmicky film, whatever.
Right.
This guy wasn't a good writer. I think it was improvised, a lot of it, which is just, unless you know what you're doing. Unless you know what you're doing.
Unless you're Christopher Guest, don't.
Hey, look, I made an improvised movie. We shot 45-minute takes that we dropped down to a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Right. And they were good. But we did a lot of research. We did a lot of rehearsals. We did a lot of getting into character. So by the time we got to the scene, we had prepared, It wasn't just like, let's get in the car and make some crap up. And get the camcorder working, shakety, out of focus. Everybody walked out before the film was over. All the industry people walked out before the film was over.
Yeah.
But at least he did it, and it was like, you had those opportunities back then because this was, it's a super cheap acquisition, and then B, it'll make a lot of money. Clerks made a good amount of money on its return.
Oh, yeah, it did.
It did.
So
they're realizing that these tiny little movies can make big old box office.
Oh, yeah, the profit margins are huge.
Right, so they were trying to snap everything up. By the time I got there, they had realized that they had just snapped up a bunch of crappity craps.
Right.
And even in the festival market, back when we started in the festivals with our shorts, it was it was just a great place for filmmakers to go. You got your work shown. You got celebrated. You never got any of this crap as an independent filmmaker because there's no money or anything in it. So the festivals were a way to kind of feel like, I'm doing something.
Right.
I'm getting awards and stuff. It's worth it.
Right.
But by the time we got to our feature, that was over. All the festivals were sponsored by, vodka companies, Ciroc and everything. So to have shorts were still pretty cool, but to have a feature in, you had to have a star.
Yeah.
Or some crazy gimmick or something.
Right.
So, it's just, yes, I understand people's love for this film, but I think it hit me on a viscerally personal level when I watched it.
Right.
That just made me so angry.
I will say my favorite thing was your hope that maybe I was wrong, and then watching it again and realizing you were not.
I was not. And it's sad. I was really hoping that I would watch this again and like it.
Right. I don't disagree with any of your critiques. I still just really like the movie.
I get it. I'm sorry. Let's get into it.
It really was part of the reason why I think that I write the way I do, because he wrote a lot very fast dialogue.
Yeah.
And I write a lot of very fast dialogue.
But your dialogue is clever. I mean, your dialogue doesn't rely on
peppered with a bunch of $5 words.
But it doesn't rely on dick jokes and just like a bombardment of crassness for crassness' sake. And
oh my God, I did not realize how much Randall is just an asshole until this screening of it. I did not.
Effing sociopath.
I actually identified more with him than anybody else, and now I'm like embarrassed by that.
Should be. I think we all kind of did, because we all want to be that smart ass,
not
fast
giving
talking.
a care about the world. Like, oh, I know what I'm doing.
Right, yeah. But he was. Unfortunately, the actor didn't have the personality or the likability to pull off that kind of character, so he was just absolutely hateable.
There was a lot of people back then. They were just very hateable people.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, take yourself back to 1994.
Yeah.
March 8th, Nine Inch Nails' second studio album, The Downward Spiral, is released to critical acclaim.
Nine Inch Nails?
Nine Inch Nails.
I just remember Homer Simpson in the Homer Palooza episode.
Oh, yeah. Nine Inch Nails. April 5th, Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, commits suicide at age 27 at his home in Seattle. His body was found 3 days later.
That was so sad.
It's one of those times I know exactly where I was watching Kurt Loder when the news came out.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
Yeah.
If it only was Eddie Vedder.
Rude.
I'm just kidding.
There's still questions whether or not he actually committed suicide.
He might have been murdered. Yeah, but I mean, I've watched all those documentaries, and
none of the documentaries are good.
Very evidence of
people wishing, a lot of wishful thinking.
Well, a lot of people really hate Courtney Love, and
I mean, rightfully so. But she didn't kill him.
She was like 17, man. Yeah. It's like you're kids with a lot of money, and you know what I mean. I can't fault her for being 18 years old, whatever,
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think the whole thing was a mess.
It was.
You get heroin involved in anything, it's not going to end well.
There was no winners. Everything was just bad. It was bad.
I remember watching the acoustic set. You remember the acoustic set?
Oh, yeah.
And him.
It was great.
In the Pines.
Yeah.
And that look he gave at the, he took that breath, and then was like, and then they get just, that's the look. We knew right there.
Whatever,
that was when it was like, he's going to die. That was the look. That was the look.
It was that whole session was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Did they ever release that?
They did.
I should have bought it.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they released it on DVD. They have it on. I mean, you can probably find the whole thing on YouTube now. But because I had the album. I mean, that was one of my favorite albums from that year.
Ugh, grunge.
Yeah.
That whole period was so lame. I mean, the music was good, but just there's some really embarrassing
That's
Gen
the
X
music
moments.
of my people.
F your people.
October 14th, Pulp Fiction premieres. It soon after became the highest grossing independent film ever made.
Oh, yeah.
And then October 9th, just 5 days later, Clerks is released in theaters.
Limped into theaters.
So, obviously, Clerks starts with Kevin Smith, the writer and director. I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly because Kevin Smith, considering the fact that he plays Silent Bob, is one of the most talkative people alive.
Oh, yeah.
And you know everything about everything he's ever doing.
Yes.
Which is great. I mean, he's very open and very honest about stuff.
One of the things that I do really admire Kevin Smith about is his openness, whether it's his heart attack or his recent mental,
which I had no idea.
Neither did I, but he's very open about it, and he talks about it in a way that a lot of guys our age, my age, his age, in their 50s or whatever, we grew up, we were walk it off kids, walk it off. I'll give, stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. And it's really important because we're also like our fathers, like, they don't need to go to therapy. Therapy's for, crazy people.
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
But it's always a great thing when somebody who has dealt with mental issues and has sought treatment encourages other people to do so, because it's really important. I really like Kevin Smith as a person.
Agreed. Totally.
And there's some of his films that I really like. So I'm not a Kevin Smith hater.
Right.
But I'm a Clerks hater.
Yeah.
And it'll be, if it isn't apparent now, it'll become very apparent later.
Yeah. Okay, so Smith was born in Red Bank, New Jersey. He was the youngest of 3 siblings. His father was a postal worker, and he spent most of his childhood in the nearby clamming town of Highlands.
Yeah, let's go clamming. Get your buckets and your capri pants, and we'll go clamming.
Smith's childhood was scheduled around his father's late shifts at the post office. His father grew to despise his job, which greatly influenced Smith, who remembers his father finding it difficult on some days to get up and go to work.
Oh, God. Hey, Kevin. I don't think I can make it to work today.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
I'm not even supposed to be here. Oh, God. Kevin, I'm getting off at 9 tonight. We'll go see a movie.
So Smith vowed to never work at something that he did not enjoy. So I props to him, because he did. He managed to make a career out of something that he loves. Regardless if he's good at it or not, he loves doing it.
Well, look, he is an example of sheer tenacity, rising above other things. And look, I think he would admit that. I think he considers himself a really good writer, and he's a good writer.
Yeah, I mean, the writing for me is my favorite thing about Clerks.
Oh,
I mean, obviously, because
he's become a much better writer.
Essentially, just a play.
Oh my God, it is just it's just this is him without a filter.
Yeah.
This is him probably without a lot of input, just being like, "Oh man, you're hilarious, Kevin."
Yeah, I mean, he was able to write very well, and I'm sure that all of the friends he has in the movie were very much like, "Yeah, this is great."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
So Smith attended Henry Hudson Regional High School, where he was a B and C student. He videotaped basketball games and produced Saturday Night Live style sketch comedy.
I did the same. I didn't film the
basketball
games, but we did make sketch comedy videos every weekend.
Yeah. He was an overweight teen. He developed into a comedic observer of life to socialize with friends and girls. After high school, Smith attended the New School in New York City, but did not graduate. Smith met Jason Mewes while working at a youth center. They became friends after discovering a mutual interest in comic books.
And weed.
Yes. On his 21st birthday, Smith saw Richard Linklater's comedy Slacker.
I like Slacker, but Slacker it's responsible for a lot of this crap.
I honestly don't know if I've ever actually seen Slacker.
It's really good.
Pretty sure I have, but I
know you're not a Linklater fan, but
yeah. It's hit and miss with me.
But you should watch it. It's a good debut, and there's some really good characters in it.
Yeah. Impressed that Linklater set and shot the film in his hometown of Austin, Texas, rather than on a soundstage in a major city, Smith was inspired to become a filmmaker and to set films where he lived. He said,
"It was the movie that got me off my ass. It was the movie that lit a fire under me, the movie that made me think, hey, I could be a filmmaker, and I never seen a movie like that before in my life."
He assembled a library of independent filmmakers like Linklater, Jim Jarmusch, Spike Lee, and Hal Hartley to draw from.
All excellent filmmakers. He should have learned more.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is filmmaking is not just watching something and trying to copy it.
Jim Jarmusch is one of the absolute greatest independent filmmakers of all time. He's one of my absolute favorite directors of all time. Guess what? His films don't have all that much dialogue. And the dialogue
they
does have...
They really don't. Yeah. Smith attended Vancouver Film School for 4 months, where he met longtime collaborators Scott Mosier and Dave Klein. Unlike them, Smith left halfway through the course, figuring he knew enough to proceed and wanting to save money for his first film.
Well, he didn't. I mean, he didn't know enough to proceed, but he, I guess, did save the money.
Smith moved back to New Jersey and got his old job back at a convenience store in Leonardo. He decided to set his film Clerks at the store, borrowing the A Day in the Life structure from the Spike Lee film Do the Right Thing. When writing the script, Smith based the character of Dante Hicks on himself, Randall Graves on his friend Brian Johnson, who appeared in Smith's subsequent films as Steve Dave Polsky, and Jay on Jason Mewes, who ended up playing him in the movie.
Okay.
Smith originally wrote the part of Randall for himself, dryly admitting in the DVD audio commentary to be the reason why he gave Randall his most liked lines. He apparently just wanted to be the asshole.
I will give him this. At least he was smart enough to not do that because, well, I mean, he couldn't do it.
He did do it.
He tried to do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what I'm saying is he realized that it's not working. I mean, so many people that I know that are like, I'm going to write, direct, and star in it myself. There's very, very few people that can do that.
Very few people.
There's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
There's Kevin Costner sometimes.
Mel Gibson sometimes.
Mel Gibson. Sometimes.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that he wanted to play Randall. He was going to play Randall. He was playing Randall, but he found that writing, directing, working at the store, and playing a lead role all simultaneously was too difficult, and he constantly forgot his lines in the process, so he gave the role of Randall to his friend Jeff Anderson, while Smith took on the less demanding role of Silent Bob.
Yeah, because he got no lines.
Yeah. To acquire the funds for the film, Smith sold off a large portion of his extensive comic book collection in 1993, which he later bought back.
Yeah, I'm going to get that back.
He borrowed $3,000 from his parents. He maxed out 8 to 10 credit cards with $2,000 limits. He spent a portion of funds he got back from his college education, paychecks from working at Quick Stop and RST, and insurance money awarded for property that was lost and or damaged in a storm flood, thus adding up to the total budget of $27,575.
It's impressive. It's impressive that he made a movie for under 30 grand. I mean, it looks like it was made for under 30 grand. It does not look like it was made for any more than that, but it's impressive that he was able to make it.
Do you know what doesn't cost any money?
What?
Moving the camera.
He tried that a few times.
It was so funny. There was the scene where it was like, why not just the push in? And
oh, my God.
And then it cuts to the funny sequence of like the customers being annoying. And then it's like a push down the girl and then a whip pan back. And it was like, you can move the camera. Like, I know you can.
It's such bad framing. Just the camera work. It
It's
made
arty.
me so angry.
It's arty.
Oh my God! And in the car, the whip pan back and forth. That was
a bit much.
Oh, Kevin!
Brian O'Halloran was cast as Dante Hicks.
I'm Dante Hicks.
One of the few people that Smith actually didn't know. O'Halloran started acting on stage in high school.
It shows.
He said about stage acting,
"It's the best training you can do as an actor. To be in front of a live audience. There's no stop, wait. Oh, geez. What was that line again? It just sharpens your reflexes. It sharpens your interaction. And it definitely sharpens your memory because you have to know the entire show from beginning to end."
All right.
That right there was better acting than he did in the entire movie.
Wow. I would disagree with that.
He's very much a stage actor.
I think he fit the part well, but I think I think I'm mostly because like he is Dante Hicks to me.
Sure, it's just the reason why I say it's like every student film I've seen is because one of the things you do in student films is you get your friends to be in it because you can't hire anybody, and it's that level of acting. I keep saying it's a porno without sex. Yeah, well, that's the level of acting to me.
Brian O'Halloran actually auditioned for the movie. He discovered an audition notice for the film that Smith gave to his community theater. O'Halloran answered the notice and auditioned, unaware that he would be cast as the film's main character, Dante. During auditioning, O'Halloran was informed by a friend of Smith's that all the main characters were already cast.
All the main characters are already cast. I don't even know why you're here.
Yeah, thanks. Clerks is loosely based on the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, hence the name of the protagonist, Dante Hicks.
Very loosely.
Yep, a little on the nose. Also, there are 9 breaks in the movie to represent the 9 rings of hell, like purgation and pulsivity or something.
I don't know. A lot of that shit was
half the words,
wrong.
It was like, I got to pause it and find out what this means. Since Clerks, O'Halloran has mostly played Dante Hicks or cousins of Dante Hicks in feature films.
Stretch.
I know. He mostly does stage acting. In 2000, O'Halloran was the lead in Vulgar, about a small-town clown who is traumatized after he is attacked during one of his performances.
I remember that. I don't know if I saw this, but I definitely remember this.
Yeah, it sounds kind of vaguely familiar. It was written and directed by Bryan Johnson, written specifically with O'Halloran in mind.
Okay.
This is the same Bryan Johnson that Kevin Smith based Randall on in Clerks.
Well, then I get it, because he's a sociopath.
In addition to playing Steve Dave in other View Askew Universe movies since 2010, he has been a co-host, this is Bryan Johnson, has been a co-host of Tell 'em Steve Dave, a podcast created with fellow View Askew Universe staple Walt Flanagan and Brian Quinn of the Tenderloins comedy troupe and Impractical Jokers.
Oh, your buddies.
It's a connection, yeah.
You love the Impractical. Hey, go in there and flick her hat off and then tell her she's stupid.
The best parts of Impractical Jokers is when they're playing games. Like, anyway.
I'm just teasing. Impractical Jokers is funny.
Impractical Jokers is a guilty pleasure.
I know you love it. I'm not going
pleasure.
to skewer it.
From 2012 to 2018, Johnson also co-starred on the AMC reality series Comic Book Men.
Right. I remember that.
Yes.
Never watched it.
Kevin Smith, I never watched it either.
It was about guys working in a comic book store.
Yeah. I mean, this is the funny thing is that I'm pretty sure everyone involved in this movie just wanted to be involved somehow with comic books.
Sure.
And they eventually, through Hollywood, was able to be involved in the comic book industry.
And through Kevin Smith, he launched a lot of careers. So,
he did.
And look, he's a very loyal guy to his friends.
Oh, he's
very, there's a lot. Like I said, once again, Kevin Smith, no problem with him. None whatsoever. I think he's a great guy. Just this film.
Yeah.
And a couple of his others.
In 2020, O'Halloran began presenting his own pop culture podcast, The O'Hallorant, on YouTube.
Great. How clever.
Jeff Anderson was cast as Randall Graves. Anderson attended Henry Hudson Regional High School with his friend, aspiring writer Kevin Smith. They both graduated in 1988. While Anderson was working at AT&T, Smith was working on his debut movie Clerks. As a joke, Anderson auditioned for the role of Jay, and based on this audition, Smith later offered Anderson a lead role as the video store employee Randall.
All right.
For his role in Clerks, Anderson was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for Best Debut Performance.
F you, Independent Spirit Awards.
Anderson started his own production company, but has mostly appeared in Kevin Smith movies. He did provide a voice for the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series.
Ugh. Look, maybe he's a better actor now. I don't know. I did see one of the Clerks sequels, and maybe in the third one they got it right. But he is such, and this is something that we both. Maybe it's age. I don't know. Maybe it's from seeing it in 20s to seeing it as a senior citizen, a grumpy old man. But he is so brutally unlikable.
Yeah.
He does not have the charm to play that part. He just comes across as a horrible sociopath who has absolutely no feelings, no empathy, absolutely no... until the end when he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to F you, and you did it all yourself, and I'm just helping." And it's like, no, dude, you're a complete jackass. The way you treat your customers, the way you treat everybody.
His friends. Like, he knew that it was going to cause a problem when he told Veronica about the Caitlin Bree thing. Like, he knew it was going to cause a problem.
Well, he's just he's one of those dicks that's a troublemaker and likes to cause problems.
Yeah.
We all had friends like that.
He likes chaos.
School.
Oh, yeah.
And, yes, he loves chaos, but he doesn't... Usually when you have a character like that, there's a certain inherent likability to them that softens the... acerbic nature of their dialogue and character. But no, I hated him so much more on this viewing than I did the last time.
It was, for me, it was really, I still, the ending with him, like, for me, the scene of him talking to...
Dante?
No, Veronica. Oh. When she comes in and they're waiting... Oh, no, it was Caitlin. Sorry, when Caitlin Bree comes in, and then he's watching the store, and Dante's changing before she goes in and has sex with the dead guy. But the scene where he's essentially just like, you break his heart again, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, that, it was like, okay. Like, that to me was very telling of, like, he's very protective of Dante, even though he treats him like crap.
Well, he's protective of Dante because Dante is the only person that'll put up with his crap.
Yeah.
If he loses Dante, then he's all alone.
Dante
He's
is-
just a useless piece of crap.
A weak-willed person
Yes.
that will do anything that anybody says.
Exactly. And Dante is such a milquetoast. He's so unlikable, too, because he's just like, whatever happens, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't even be here.
It does not get better in the sequel.
Woe is me. Life is sad.
So Marilyn Gigliotti was cast as Veronica Logren. Gigliotti moved to Sayreville, New Jersey, where she attended middle school and graduated from Sayreville War Memorial High School in 1979.
Oh, she's old.
Why is there something called Sayreville War Memorial High School? That just sounds terrible.
I don't know, man. Jersey's a weird place.
It is. After high school, she earned her beautician license to do makeup and hair professionally.
Nice.
She worked at hair salons and later entered acting. Both of her parents are from Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
She performed in community theater in the New Jersey area. Kevin Smith cast her for her ability to cry while reciting a monologue for the audition. She later auditioned for Miss Mallrats and was offered the role of Kim in Chasing Amy, but was not comfortable with kissing another woman on film.
Okay, so she's horrible. No. Just kidding.
The monologue where she is yelling at Dante at the end, as you pointed out yesterday, was used a lot in a lot of acting scenes and a lot of acting classes.
F him for that. I was in way too many acting classes with way too many horrible actors that got up there and just emoted.
Since moving to Los Angeles in 1998, aside from her acting work, Gigliotti works as a makeup artist in the TV film industry, as well as side work as a wedding stylist.
Probably for only heterosexual weddings.
Wow, okay. She most recently appeared in Witchula, released in 2018, also starring Dee Wallace, Tyler Mane, Kane Hodder, and Maria Olsen, about a witch-vampire hybrid.
Maria Olsen's an old friend of ours.
Yeah.
We used to know her at Zombie Joe's.
Yeah.
If you listen, Maria, shout out to you.
Yeah.
She was in the Percy Jackson, the movie.
Yes,
the movie,
teacher,
not the TV
the
show.
movie, the original, the first movie.
She was played the part that Megan Mullally played in the series.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't actually watch the series, so I didn't.
It was good.
But she was the teacher. Yeah, she was good. She was really good. She has 2 movies currently in post-production. Gigliotti, not Maria Olsen.
Right.
Thursday the 12th, a comedy about 2 failed filmmakers in their 30s, Seth Franco and James Rogan, when Friday the 13th stuff starts happening to them a day early.
Wait.
The characters in the movie are called Seth Franco and James Rogan.
Gross. And look, we've already had Saturday the 14th.
I know.
We don't need Thursday the 12th.
This movie, it's literally just trying to be a ripoff of Clerks. The movie released a trailer in 2016, and it finally premiered in the fall of 2023.
Yes.
Yeah. She was also in Evolution War, which is sometimes listed as Evaluation War. I swear to God, I did so much research on this, and I could not figure out why it was called Evaluation War. Also starring Tracy Birdsall and James Kirshner.
Yeah, that's Jared Kushner's brother.
Oh.
No,
okay.
it's not.
I
Kushner's spelled differently. Okay. Also, I just want to say that, her views as a younger person by not kissing a girl does not make her a lifetime homophobe.
There's nothing wrong with that if you're not, as long as she's telling other people they can't do it. I mean, that's
sure. I get not being,
but if you don't want to, if you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it.
It was a different time back then, I suppose.
Lisa Spoonhour was cast as Caitlin Bree. I actually thought she was one of the better actors in the movie. But,
she was the
Caitlin, the one dating the Asian design major.
Oh God. Which I thought was a guy studying Asian design. I didn't think it was as blatantly racist as he's an Asian design
all for that
major.
one joke.
For that one joke about
Sing and Sang, and then
the Chinese food.
Yeah,
we both
food.
eat
we both
Asian,
eat
or we both eat Chinese.
Hey, we both eat Chinese.
We both eat Chinese. Oh, you're so clever. She was in a bucket of rotten apples. the less rotten of the apples is going to shine through. But no, she
seemed the most believable.
She had a likability to her.
Yes.
She had a charm. She has a talent for acting.
I could see why Dante was obsessed with her.
Yes.
I got that. And that came through. And it was like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will. Yeah. Lisa Spoonhour.
Spoonhour, yeah.
Good job.
She was born in Rahway, New Jersey, and raised in Freehold Township in New Jersey. She attended Brookdale Community College. Yeah, they're all from Jersey. Where she attended Brookdale Community College, where she was spotted in an acting class by Clerks director Kevin Smith, who was having difficulty casting the part of Caitlin.
Hey, there's a girl. I can use her.
Afterwards, he approached her in the parking lot and asked her,
"Do you want to be in a movie?"
She replied,
"Not if it's porn."
She had some standards.
Well, at least she did.
How about we take all the porn out? And then
What if we just basically make a porno movie with no sex?
Spoonhour began dating her Clerks co-star Jeff Anderson in 1993, and they were married for 1 year from 98 to 99.
Randall?
The guy that played Randall, yeah. According to the documentary Snowball Effect, the story of Clerks, included on the 10th anniversary DVD release, Anderson proposed to her on the set of the film. Apparently this is how likable she was.
Yeah.
Spoonhour later married her second husband, Tom Caron, and relocated to Jackson Township, where she became a restaurant manager and event planner.
Good for her. Good for her, for getting away from Jeff Anderson. And I don't know. Jeff Anderson might be a super nice guy. I'm just being a dick. I'm going to be a dick a lot today.
Yeah, well, it's in the vein of the movie, apparently.
It's this month, man. Haterade gives me a lot of passion. That and the 8,000 milligrams of caffeine I've had.
Yeah. Spoonhour's only other film credit is for the Gabe Torres film Bartender in 1997. She did reprise the role of Caitlin for one episode of Clerks, the animated series.
Oh, good.
And unfortunately, to make it much more somber, she died at the age of 44 on May 20, 2017 of an accidental overdose of hydromorphone. It was also revealed that she was fighting cancer, anemia, lung disease, and immune deficiency, which were all factors in her death.
Yeah,
it sucks.
We talked about this, and I think she just was done.
Look, at a certain point, you realize that it's like, this is just too much.
I'm just going to suffer.
Especially at 44.
Oh, my God. It is. Look, there is nothing.
No.
There's nothing worse than somebody dying young or somebody getting cancer.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had a friend or loved one, if you watch them die of cancer, it is the absolute worst horror that you can experience.
Awful.
It's as a friend or loved one. You know? There's other horrors of life, but I mean, it's a disease that robs you of your life, your dignity, your everything. And, if you're going out anyway, it's your choice. And I totally respect people that decide it's time to go.
Yeah, yeah. I will always respect that decision.
Yeah.
Jason Mewes was cast as Jay.
Not saying that she did that.
Oh, no, we don't know
if
she did that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was an accidental overdose. So, I mean, it also could have just been that she was in a ton of pain.
Yeah,
it was like, I just need more.
Yeah.
I mean.
It's whatever.
It's just not. Regardless, it's not a good story. It's not a good way to end.
It's heartbreaking, especially since, she was the most talented one of the bunch.
I know. And
she was likable one
she
of
was
the
also,
bunch.
as we learned in Explorers, she was smart enough, like Jason Preston, to step away from the acting and be like, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, she didn't step away soon enough because Clerks gave her cancer. Way to go, Kevin.
Wow. Ouch. That's harsh. All right.
It's been found to be a carcinogen.
Jason Mewes was cast as Jay. Mewes was born in Highlands, New Jersey, and grew up in a working-class neighborhood. He never knew his father, and his mother was an ex-con and drug addict.
Yeah, that poor kid did not.
He's had a very rough life. Mewes said about his mother,
"She used to check into hotels and take TVs and sell them. I guess it really ain't funny, but it's weird because she's so fucked up. She used to steal mail. I used to drive around with her, and she'd pull up and make me reach into mailboxes. It really wasn't pleasant."
Bad childhood.
Yeah. Look, you're no father, drug addict mother who's making you do crimes as a child,
You're pretty much setting up for failure.
The fact that he has come as far as he has, he's had slip-ups and he's had...
It's been a very rough,
But he has not given up. His friends have not given up on him.
No, and Kevin Smith has not given up on him.
I mean, look, that guy is loyal. I mean, I will give... Kevin Smith is a loyal MFer, and that's very rare in this business.
Although his exposure to drugs at first served to make him averse to them, he eventually began using them after graduating from Henry Hudson Regional High School. His best friend was feature filmmaker Kevin Smith, who described Mewes this way.
Jason's a kind of dude you know for 5 minutes, and he whips his cock out. I was like, somebody should put this dude in a movie. I just wanted to see if anybody outside our group of friends finds him as funny as I do. I guess. I mean, yes, he was very funny in the movie. I mean, he's got a very...
He wasn't very good in the movie either.
No, not at all. But look...
Mostly. But even... I love the fact that at one point, he literally screws the lineup, and he just goes, oh, no, that wasn't right. And then he just kind of trails off, and that's it.
He does it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was the shot of him, the very subtle scene of him while they're talking, eating, stealing the food.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jason, look around. Well, maybe not that much, Jason.
I'm sure everyone on set thought it was hysterical.
Of course. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and everybody's laughing at their own jokes. It's horrible.
While working toward a career in roofing, Muse made his film debut in Clerks. Muse was not in any of the photo shoots for Clerks. Miramax, who bought the film's distribution rights following its run at the Sundance Film Festival, believed Jay had no commercial appeal and would scare audiences rather than entice them.
That just shows you how stupid executives are.
One more nail in the coffin of how dumb executives are for this month, of how they just don't get people.
Hey, guys. Yep.
Was it your idea? Was it your idea?
Of course it was. Yeah. Look.
Is it because Jason Mewes scares you?
Very much. He whipped out his wiener first time I saw him, and it was a little scary. The feelings that I felt were something that I'd never felt before. I got a little hot and bothered, and I was like, I was going to have to be on the press junket for this, and I couldn't be around him. My wife made sure.
Okay, all right.
Memories
all right, okay. I think you should go check on your kids.
Ooh, I got kids.
Yeah, you use them to steal mail, remember?
Right, yeah. They're stealing your mail right now.
Okay, great. Thanks for stopping by. Bye. Ironically, Muse would become the most well-known character in the movie, along with Silent Bob.
Yes.
In 1998, he starred as Gary Lamb, ground activist, in a series of Nike commercials directed by Kevin Smith.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember those. From 2010 to 2012, Muse was cast as Jimmy the Janitor for 26 episodes of the Canadian television series Todd and the Book of Pure Evil.
Okay. I never saw that.
I never heard of that. Muse starred in the horror film Breath of Hate in 2015, where he played a romantic love interest to a dysfunctional escort.
I'm your romantic.
Seems like really playing against type. Muse co-starred in Smith's 2008 film Zack and Miri Make a Porno, in which Muse, in a scene near the end of the film, appears fully nude.
Yeah, that must have really got Bob going.
Muse co-produced the 2013 animated movie Jay and Silent Bob's Super Groovy Cartoon Movie with his wife Jordan Monsanto, which was based on the Blunt Man and Chronic comic book that Smith wrote as a companion piece to 2001's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Okay.
I was actually working at an international film agency that repped this for international sale, and Jordan Monsanto is a very nice person.
Excellent.
I talked to her quite a bit.
Good. All right.
She was nice.
Glad she's your best friend.
She was nice.
Was that movie any good?
It was funny. It was actually funny. I actually appreciated it. It wasn't. I wouldn't even call it a movie because I think it was like 62 minutes long. So
I enjoyed Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I enjoyed the pure absurdity and silliness of that movie.
This is the funny thing, and we'll talk about it more later, but my absolute favorite thing from the Clerks universe, the Viewisk universe, was Clerks the animated series.
Oh, wow.
It was done so well and so funny because they could do whatever.
Right.
Had one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen where it was like a dream sequence where there was Transformers come down and they get inside, and when he transforms into the people from the car, all the people die because of the inside going
gross.
Yeah.
I like it.
It was funny. Anyway. Muse directorial debut, Madness is in the Method, in which he also starred, premiered August 2nd, 2019 in the U.S.
All right, I guess he was good enough to do the triple threat.
Apparently. Things weren't always positive for Muse. His drug addiction would almost get him several times. He first began using heroin shortly after appearing in Mallrats and was soon addicted.
Well, yeah.
He was.
I mean, that's the story that's pretty much told.
Yes.
There's not a lot of casual heroin users out there.
He was under the influence while filming Chasing Amy and Dogma.
Chasing Amy.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people consider Chasing Amy to be Kevin Smith's best movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat. That's the one about making a lesbian not a lesbian?
Yeah, it has the worst ending in the history of any movie.
How's it end?
Where he's like, well, the only way we're going to get past this is if we all have sex together. And then literally the other two characters are like, no. And then the movie's done. It's so bad.
I love Dogma, though.
It's
Dogma,
so
I think,
bad.
is my favorite of his movies.
I agree. Kevin Smith entered Muse into the first of a series of drug rehab clinics in 1997 after noticing Muse would randomly fall asleep, which he initially attributed to narcolepsy.
Okay, yes. That's always your go-to.
Why do you always fall asleep after the heroin? Is it because you're narcoleptic?
Well, he was probably hiding his heroin use.
Of course.
I wonder if he was, just snorting it at this point, or if he was graduated to the needle.
Muse sobered up until about a week into the Dogma shoot when he learned he could pass his urine tests by abstaining from drugs for 3 days beforehand and then using drugs the rest of the week.
Man, when you use drugs, if you put the mental powers that you use
right.
to hide your drugs or the drugs, like, you could solve any problem in the world.
Yeah,
It's like drug addicts are smart. And some of them, a lot of them.
Figure out the best way to hide my heroin is to introduce cold fusion.
Exactly.
In another attempt to get clean, Muse moved in with his mother, who gave him OxyContin to ease the withdrawal symptoms.
You're moving in with your drug addict mother to get off drugs?
Yep. In 1999, Muse was arrested in New Jersey for heroin possession. His probation sentence included community service, drug counseling, and regular court appearances in New Jersey.
Yeah.
In late 2001, after he failed to make a court appearance, a warrant was issued for his arrest. Smith had taken Muse in to live with him and his wife, Jennifer Schwalbach Smith, but evicted him after catching him using drugs again.
God, it's just shows you how powerful addiction is, man. No matter how many people love you or want you to be better, or how much you even want to be better yourself, there's just no. It's just a prison.
Yeah. During this period, Muse stole Smith's ATM card, spent $1,100 of his money, and had heroin shipped to the hotel where a press junket for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was being held.
Shipped.
Well,
that's a pretty good heroin dealer.
Yeah, it is. Smith had Muse check into various rehab facilities, including Promises in Malibu, where his visit coincided with frequent co-star Ben Affleck's stay for alcoholism.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, let's
How
hang
you
out.
doing? What are you in for?
Let's get sober together.
Drinking. What are you in for? Drugs.
Heroin.
All right. Hey, let's talk about it. Maybe we can make this into a project.
Dogma 2. Yeah. These attempts were unsuccessful for Muse, whose problem was so severe that Smith wasn't able to give him a part in 2004's Jersey Girl. Probably the best thing that he ever did for him.
That was the only positive of using heroin that anybody ever talks about. Well, he didn't do...
He was able to not be in Jersey
Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I totally forget that Jersey Girl exists.
Most people do.
Yeah.
It was so awful.
Muse continued to use drugs and has related that he decided to turn himself in and get help after waking up on Christmas morning in 2002 to find that he had started a fire after falling asleep near a lit candle while on heroin. So he was probably to the needle by this point.
Oh, yeah.
Estranged from Smith, Muse returned to New Jersey, and on April 1st, 2003, he surrendered himself at a freehold New Jersey court and pleaded guilty to probation violation charges. He was ordered to enter a 6-month rehab program. In a July 2006 interview, he reported that he was sober and harbored no urges to drink or use drugs. Unfortunately, he relapsed in 2009 after having surgery.
This happens all the time.
To help Muse maintain his sobriety, Smith created the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast as a weekly intervention to let Muse talk through his history of substance abuse.
What a good friend. What a
amazing
great friend.
God, amazing guy.
I have so much respect for Kevin Smith as a human being.
Yeah.
And look, poor Jason Mewes, this is a disease, people.
Yeah.
If you don't think it's a disease, re-listen to what Adam just said, because if it wasn't a disease, it would be easy to be like, okay.
Yeah.
There's people that are able to do that, but not everybody has that switch.
Right.
Most people, a lot of people have a disease, which is a miswiring in your brain that the addiction exacerbates and fuels, and it just becomes this circular, snake eating itself BS that you just can't get out of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, very sad.
And anybody who's been in a hole, whether it's drugs or financial, whatever it is, knows the hopelessness of looking up And being like, there's no way I'm climbing out of this.
Right.
There's no way out.
Just hope that you have a Kevin Smith in your life.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Or an Adam Newbound.
No.
Except you haven't helped me. I'm still doing heroin right now in front of you, and you're
I'm trying to get
me.
you to drink more, but you just won't listen.
You're going to kill me.
In a May 2014 Reddit Q&A thread with fans, Muse stated that he had been sober since July 1st, 2010. He most recently can be seen in Clerks 3.
Great. So he's, as of now,
he's sober. Apparently, he's been sober for now coming on 14 years.
Amazing.
So hopefully he stays sober.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Look, hey, that is an incredible feat, man.
That's hard.
You don't put people in jail for having cancer. You know?
Right.
And it's in the fact that people don't acknowledge the absolute severity of this fatal disease of addiction.
Right.
It blows my mind. It's just like, what are you thinking?
Agreed. Scott Mosier was cast as William Black, also the angry hockey-playing customer, the angry mourner, one of the mourners that runs out afterwards.
In the ill-fitting suit?
Probably.
The guy that was wearing his dad's suit that's 3 sizes too big for him?
I did not realize that the guy who climbs up on the roof and knocks the hockey ball way out, and William Black, the dude who just stares around like he's not all there, were the same guy. I had no idea.
Such a good actor.
He shaved his beard.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have a facial blindness when it comes to facial hair.
Yes, of course. It's like whenever I shave, you're like, "Who?
You
called the
what are
cops
you
on
doing
me
in
3
my
times."
house? Yeah. Mosier met Kevin Smith while both were attending Vancouver Film School in Canada. Their first assignment, Mayday, The Crumbling of a Documentary, was a student film documentary that fell apart in production.
Okay.
So they did a documentary about it. To salvage it, Smith and Mosier interviewed the crew about the demise of the very documentary that they had been attempting to produce. They also added a segment in which the two were shown in silhouette as they described their fictional thoughts.
Great.
4 months into the 8-month program, Smith decided to drop out, but not before making a deal with Mosier. Each would start writing a script of his own, and the one who finished last would help the other with his film.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. On Clerks, Mosier recorded the original sound on set, edited the film at RST Video, and contributed to the budget. I'm using edited in a very loose term.
Well, you should put sound in a loose term, too, because this is like half of the movie.
As soon as someone walks away from the camera, it's like, oh no, it sounds so real. It's like, wow, they did a lot of post work to make that sound like he moved further away. Yeah. He would get a producer credit on the film. He also contributed by appearing on screen as multiple characters, including the angry hockey player and William Black, also known as Snowball.
Yeah.
Because
was that the guy that she snowballed? That's why?
Yeah, she snowballed him. Yeah.
Now, would you want to tell people what snowballing is?
Nope.
Okay.
Watch the movie.
Don't look it up.
Watch
people.
the movie.
Don't
look it up.
Do not Google
Just
snowball sexual
watch
act.
Clerks and you will understand.
No, don't watch Clerks. Just find that scene.
Well, watch Clerks.
No.
William Black was supposed to be a collegiate type, but the original actor for the role, Dan Hapstack, changed his mind and opted out of the role. Scott Mosier was then cast as the role, but since he didn't look collegiate, they reworked the character into an idiot man-child.
Okay. Worked well.
He'd actually played it really well.
Sure.
Yeah. Mosier would produce all of Kevin Smith's films up until Cop Out in 2010, when he was slated to make his directorial debut.
Oh, what happened? What was his directorial debut?
It didn't happen. I don't know. He co-hosts Kevin Smith's long-running podcast, Smodcast, until 2017, in which he now joins Smith sporadically.
Is that the one that Ralph Garman is on, or is that some? No, that's
different.
Hollywood Babylon.
That's Hollywood. Yeah.
God, he does a lot of podcasts.
He does. He would co-direct the 2018 animated version of The Grinch, which I didn't realize that was Scott Mosier that did it.
Neither did I.
He most recently can be seen reprising the role of Snowball in Clerks 3.
Okay.
Yep, got to bring them all back.
Guess we're going to have to watch Clerks 3 at some point.
I know. Walt Flanagan was cast as a whole lot of characters. Many of Smith's family and friends played roles due to budget constraints. One of them, Walt Flanagan, who, in addition of creating the character of Silent Bob's Russian metalhead cousin Olaf, plays 4 roles in this film. He plays the woolen cap smoker in the beginning, the famous Eggman, both of which he reprises in Clerks 3.
I hated that so much.
The Eggman.
Oh my god, that was just such a stupid
joke. It went on
joke.
for so long,
and it was just dumb. It was just guidance counselors have weird egg fetishes, and it's like he starts rubbing it on his nips and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, dude. And they must have thought it was hilarious.
He also played the offended customer during the Jizz Mopper scene, which, ironically, up until this viewing, Didn't realize how closely the Eggman and the offended customer looked exactly the same.
Yeah, I just put glasses on him.
Yeah. And he was also the cat-admiring bitter customer, as well as the final RST video customer in a deleted scene.
Oh my God, we have to see that scene.
Yeah, no, we don't. Smith never intended for Flanagan to play this many roles, but had to, as the actors he got to play them just did not show up, and would often in jest refer to Flanagan as...
the Lon Chaney of the 90s.
Yeah.
He was.
I just love the fact that people were like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
I'm not showing him. Yeah, what time is it? Nah, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing this.
It's Jersey, man. Hey, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
What do you... Hey, look, I got stuff to do, man. I can't do it.
Gotta go check on some boys.
I can't do your little movie, okay? I'm not doing your little movie, okay? I got stuff to do.
Gotta go to the shore, check on my boys.
Yeah, gotta go. Hey, go on the Jersey Shore and go get some drinks and some ladies.
Flanagan would also appear in Smith's subsequent films as Walt the Fanboy Grover, opposite Johnson's Steve Dave. That was starting in Mallrats.
Okay.
Flanagan and Smith have known each other since they were kids. Flanagan's actually the one who got Smith into comic books. What? He's also the lead in the TV show Comic Book Men.
Right.
So, Clerks was shot on an Arriflex SR2 camera, utilizing black and white 16mm Kodak Plus X film stock, and roughly edited due to its small budget.
You know why he used black and white?
Because he didn't know how to do color gradation.
Yeah, exactly. Because he didn't know how to light for color.
Yeah.
It was a smart move of him to go black and white because that just completely eliminated an entire necessity of cinematography.
You don't have to hire a cinematographer.
No.
I did my final short film thesis project was literally the same. Arriflex SR2 shot on 16mm Kodak Plus X black and white film stock.
Yep. Yeah. I think we did color for our last film.
Yeah, I was
Best Picture.
My graduating class was the last one to actually use physical film.
Wow!
Everybody after that started doing. I was kind of the hybrid, like learning Avid, like doing that kind of film stuff. But I actually cut my final film on a flatbed. Yeah,
with the white glove. And...
yeah. But we were the last class. Yeah.
It was it was fascinating. I'm really glad that I got to go to film school when it was filmed, but I would never shoot on film. I mean, once digital came, it was like that. I mean, cost is way down. You don't have to freak out while you're waiting for your dailies, and it just makes a lot of sense.
The film was shot in 21 days with 2 pickup days. The Quick Stop convenience store located at 58 Leonard Avenue in Leonardo, New Jersey, where Smith worked, was the primary setting for the film. I believe it's still there. He was only allowed to film in the store at night while it was closed from 10:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m.
Look, Kevin, you can film in my store.
Yeah.
But only at night times when it's closed. I ain't losing money on you, Kevin. You're not that good an employee.
Hence the plot point of the shutters being closed due to a vandal having jammed gum in the padlocks.
Yeah, because they couldn't afford to get a light to make it look like it was daylight.
No, there's no way. It was much easier to control the lighting, and which, by the way, most of the shots you can see all the lights in any reflective surface.
Yeah, well, because there was no rhyme or reason to the lights either. They didn't have fill light or backlight or key lights. It was just lights.
It looks more real, Jim.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes, it was very cinema verite.
Because Smith was working at Quick Stop during the day and shooting the film at night, he frequently slept no more than an hour a day.
Not healthy.
That is not healthy. By the end of the 21-day shoot, Smith was unable to stay awake while Dante and Randall's fight was shot.
Fighty in quotes.
Yeah, a very loose term of fight.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff.
I just love that they wander off screen and it's just somebody, probably Kevin Smith, just throwing candy into the frame.
It was very ineffectual. It was like watching the rooftop hockey scene where you just see like skates going shoop, shoop, shoop side to side and then somebody's wiggling.
Throw your stick around.
Wiggle your stick. It looks like that.
Wiggle your stick.
Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that cameo video with Rudy Giuliani where he's got those giant shorts and he's just waggling a golf club between his leg? That's called the old Kevin Smith.
Yeah. That was Wiggle Your Stick, the Kevin Smith story.
Wiggle your stick!
The F word and its derivatives are said 91 times throughout the film, mostly between Dante and Jay.
That's why kids love the movie.
Yeah. The events of Julie Dwyer's wake were written by Smith, but were not filmed due to the prohibitive cost of producing the scene.
Yeah, which made that entire thing pointless.
Yeah.
There was no need for any of it.
No.
It didn't have any character development. Oh, his ex-girlfriend died and he wants to go see it. It just did. There was nothing to it.
Yeah.
It was just a dumb gag.
I like the idea of it being like, oh, this is a person that I dated for a while and she's dead now. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But there was no reason to go.
No, and they're like, oh, you knocked over the casket, and here we go.
And then he didn't care. He was like, so what? They'll just put her back.
Just put her back in.
Oh, my God, I wanted to slap him so hard.
Oh, God. F you, Jeff Anderson. F you.
Well, no, look. Jeff Anderson was playing the role as it was written by Kevin Smith.
I don't know. He transcended Randall Graves for me, and now I just I'm coming after you, Jeff.
In 2004, the scene was produced in colored animation using the same style of Clerks, the animated series, featuring O'Halloran and Anderson reprising the roles, and Joey Lauren Adams in a cameo as her character Alyssa Jones, who'd later appear in further US Universe films for the 10th anniversary DVD release.
Awesome. I'm going to have to pick that up.
I'm pretty sure I owned that at some point.
Sure. Well, whatever. You like the movie, fine.
The lost scene was also presented in comic book form of the Clerks comic book series with the title of The Lost Scene.
Clever.
On the nose.
Yeah.
The original ending for the film was meant to continue from when Randall throws the "I assure you we're open" sign at Dante. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
After Randall leaves, Dante proceeds to count out the register and does not notice another person entering the store.
Chling, chling.
Dante at first thinks it's Randall, but looks up and informs the person that the store is no longer open. The man then pulls out a gun and shoots Dante, killing him.
Smash cut to black. Credits. And then the Sopranos decided to use that ending.
It didn't smash cut. Afterward, the man puts all the money from the cash register in a bag and walks out of the store. The sequence ends with Dante's dead face looking off past the camera. After the credits roll, the soundtrack over it being a cash register making noises. A customer, played by Smith with his beard shaved off, wearing glasses and in a ponytail and a baseball jersey, comes into the store, sees no one around as Dante is lying dead behind the counter, steals a pack of cigarettes, and runs off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, it would have ended the Clerks.
It would have. The depressing ending was criticized by Bob Hawke and John Pearson after its first screening at the independent feature film market, and under Pearson's advice, Smith cut the ending short, ending with Randall's departure and deleting Dante's death.
Which is a very good note.
I agree.
Because it's completely out of it's a very film school idea, which is, we're going to subvert everybody's expectations, and we'll have him die at the end. That was like the way to end everything back then. We'll just kill him.
Fans have since analyzed the death of Dante as an homage to the ending of The Empire Strikes Back, which is discussed earlier in the film as Dante's favorite Star Wars movie because
it ended on such a down note. All right, people, you're stretching.
The film's extended cut also implied that because Randall disconnected the security camera earlier in the day during the roof hockey scene, the killer would never be caught.
Just like Empire.
Yeah. Smith has since claimed he concluded Clerks this way for 3 reasons.
Let's hear them.
The primary reason was irony. The ending would be the payoff for Dante's repeated claims of, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Smith also stated that the ending was an homage to the ending of Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing from '89, a comedic film with a dark ending.
Which earned its ending.
Correct.
Because it was not just a comedy. It was a complete social...
Yeah.
A brilliant film. Spike Lee's best film. Brilliant film.
Lee's name can also be seen in the special thanks portion of the credits.
Yeah, well, he should have thanked them all.
Yeah, well, yeah. Smith also stated that he ended Clerks with Dante's death because he
didn't know how to end a film.
Yeah. Both versions are available in Clerks 10, or Clerks X, the 10th anniversary special edition. The lost ending itself was among the extras of the 1995 Laserdisc and the 1999 DVD release.
Nice.
Smith states in the audio commentary in the 1999 DVD that had he kept the original ending, likely no further US Universe movies would have ever been made. The culprit in question was played by Smith's cousin John Wilyoung, who went on to appear in Smith's later films, most notably as Cohee London in Chasing Amy.
Of course.
Clerks 3, and as himself in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Oh, yeah, there was a second time.
I never saw it.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah. On their movie review show, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, both of whom had given thumbs-up reviews to the film in 1994, had a special segment on a November 1995 episode that presented and discussed the original ending. Ugh. Siskel said that having the alternate ending could have worked, but it would have to be longer with more build-up to suggest that something like this could happen, while Ebert said he understood Smith's desire to do something memorable/shocking to end the film, but concluded,
ultimately, I'm glad Smith decided to spare Dante.
It's amazing how
That was a recording of them.
It's amazing how Roger Ebert and Brian O'Halloran sound exactly the same.
No, they grew up in the same area.
Oh, they did. Okay. Originally playing at the Sundance Film Festival in early 1994, Clerks was picked up by Miramax Films and released in theaters. A Miramax employee read the screenplay to determine if the company wished to pick up the film for distribution. The reader came to the scene where Dante, angry over his girlfriend's sexual past, yells at an oblivious customer,
"My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks!"
And the customer curiously says,
"In a row?"
Which is...
It was the one time I laughed.
Jim laughed at that as well. The reader laughed so hard that he stopped reading the script. He immediately visited the vice president of production and had him read the scene. The VP greenlit the film for buying approval by Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein. The VP greenlit the film for buying approval by Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein on the spot. Despite having almost no violence on the film, with the exception of the fight between Dante and Randall, which that's really not violent.
Is that violence?
It was originally given an NC-17 rating by the MPAA based solely on its graphic dialogue.
Ugh. It's so stupid. The MPAA is so stupid.
There's a dead guy with a big wiener.
Yeah.
The film's distributor Miramax hired attorney Alan Dershowitz of the O.J. Simpson defense team, who successfully petitioned the MPAA to lower its rating to R without any cuts.
All right, look. Okay, you gotta lower it to R with no cuts. I gotta get out of here. I'm going to this friend of mine, Jeffrey Epstein. He's got this island. I'm gonna fly over there and get some massages. So you gotta get this done really quick.
All right. Clerks became a surprise hit, grossing over $3 million in the United States, despite never playing on more than 100 theater screens in the United States at the same time. I don't think I include this. Sorry. They actually end up spending about $300,000 on post-production work for the movie.
On what?
Trying to fix the sound.
I guess that was. But I don't see $300,000 in that
I'm
movie.
guessing it was also the
prints.
the P&A. Yeah.
Yeah, that still costs a lot of money.
It grossed $1.3 million internationally for a worldwide gross of $4.4 million.
Hey, look, on a $26,000, well, $326,000.
Yeah,
but on an initial guy's dream, this is amazing. This is
it
a
made
feat.
his career.
Yes.
I mean, that was it. That's what he wanted. Yeah. It has become a cult classic and inspired a bunch of young writers and directors to make movies. Jason Reitman actually said that this film inspired him to be a filmmaker. Reitman later told Kevin Smith this, to which Smith replied,
"You're the son of Ivan Reitman. You grew up on the sets of Ghostbusters and Stripes. It took me to let you know that you can be a director?"
Yeah.
BS. Hey, now, you know why, Kevin? Because he looked at your crap movies and was like, geez, if this is what people can do, I can do so much better. And then his dad was like, yeah, you totally can. Get to work.
A pilot for a live-action TV series was produced in 1995. It was produced by Touchstone Television and was to be developed by Richard Day.
Okay.
Day has written for the sitcoms
Arrested Development, Spin City, Ellen, Roseanne, Mad About You, and Aliens in America.
The pilot only referenced the character names and starred none of the cast from the original film, contained no foul language except words suitable enough for a TV PG rating, and did not feature Silent Bob.
Did it have Jay?
The character of Jay was featured, prompting Smith to point out that he owned the character rights to both Jay and Silent Bob for the purposes of featuring them in separate films. The producer's solution was to change the character's name to Ray.
Okay, this was so stupid. This was a failure from the get-go. Hey, look, we'll just change his name to Ray. Ray and Taki John.
Taki John. Smith was unaware of the production of the series until casting was underway. Smith, as well as Mosier and Muse, had been knee-deep with the production of Mallrats at the time and attempted to become involved in the series, but became disheartened quickly, and as an episode he had written for the series was shot down to be used as a potential B-plot.
You know, look, I know you created this and everything, but you're just not good enough.
He would later use that script for an episode of Clerks, the animated series.
Oh, great.
O'Halloran and Anderson both auditioned to reprise the roles of Dante and Randall from the film, but were replaced by Andrew Lowry and future Saturday Night Live performer Jim Brewer.
Oh, God. If there's one person.
Oh, my God. You know he was playing Randall. And you know that he was insufferable.
Insufferable. Jim Brewer. Oh, my God.
That's my Jim Brewer impersonation.
It's funnier than Jim Brewer, actually.
I'm Jim Brewer.
Look, I'm a Tyrannosaurus or whatever that shit that he did. Ugh, man. Jim Brewer. Jim Brewer is a right-wing comic now.
Of course he is. Not surprised.
So if anybody was wondering where Jim Brewer went, maybe go to...
he went to the dark side.
Yeah, go to Branson. Catch him there.
After seeing the results, Smith, Mosier, Muse, O'Halloran, and Anderson all said that it was terrible, and O'Halloran and Anderson further stating they were both glad they weren't involved. Touchstone Television with Miramax Films also produced Clerks, the animated series, a short-lived 6-episode animated television series featuring the same characters and cast of the original film.
That was on like MTV, right?
2 episodes aired on ABC in late May, early June 2000 before being pulled from the lineup. I think, the full 6 episodes were released on DVD in 2001 before being run on Comedy Central in 2004 and Adult Swim from 2008 to 2010.
Yeah.
In Comedy Central, like, it just started running constantly.
Just the 6 episodes?
Yes. Yeah. In a trailer for, but not in, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Randall, referencing the series, says to Dante,
"If you were funnier than that, ABC would have never canceled us."
I personally think that those 6 episodes are some of the best things Kevin Smith ever did.
Great. I'll have to watch them.
Really
I didn't know that it was such a small commitment.
Yeah, they're really funny. Although not direct sequels in terms of addressing the original film's storyline, characters from the original Clerks, primarily Jay and Silent Bob, appeared in the films Mallrats in 1995, Chasing Amy in 1997, Dogma in 1999, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Wait, they were in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
In 2001, yep. And Jay and Silent Bob Reboot in 2019. All of which take place in the same continuity as Clerks.
Yeah, look, I love people that create their own universe.
Yeah.
You know, like we talked about this before, I love Quentin Tarantino, Apple cigarettes, everything happens within the same thing. That is something I've always strived for with stuff I've worked on, is like, I never had anything congruent, so it never worked out for that. But it always, whether it's like Kids in the Hall going from scene to scene, or, I just love people creating their own worlds. Stephen King, all of things that it's just you enter a universe and it's our universe,
right,
but a little different.
Tarantino is so good at it that he created a universe inside a universe.
Yeah.
Where there's movies that characters in the universe watch inside the universe. Yeah, I know. Dante.
Can you imagine listening to him? Like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna have a universe inside of a universe inside of a universe, and then everybody's gonna watch these movies within the universe, and then okay, because it's all about film. And in 1926 there was a film called Jib Jab, and
Tarantino, could you quit? Could you stop doing cocaine, please?
No, what? This is just me.
Dante and Randall also reprised the roles in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which was originally promoted as a finale to the series that was in 2001. But an official sequel to Clerks was announced a few years later. The live-action feature film sequel to Clerks was released on July 21st, 2006. The working title was The Passion of the Clerks, though the film was released under the title Clerks 2.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Passion of the Clerks.
Passion of the Clerks would have been funny. The credits for Dogma stated,
Jay and Silent Bob will return in Clerks 2. Hardly clerkin'. F you.
However, that project evolved into Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The sequel features O'Halloran, Anderson, Muse, and Smith, in addition to returning as writer, director, and editor, reprising their roles as Dante, Randall, Jay, and Silent Bob. The former two now work at a Mooby's restaurant after Randall accidentally destroys the Quick Stop and RST Video, while the latter two, having sobered up after 6 months in rehab, continue their drug-selling antics in the parking lot of the restaurant.
Yeah, this is Jay and Silent Bob, right?
No, this is Clerks 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Clerks 2. Mooby's was introduced in Dogma, I believe.
Yeah, because it was the evil fast food place.
Yeah. During interviews for Clerks 2, Smith briefly discussed the possibility of a Clerks 3. Smith said,
if there's ever going to be a Clerks 3, it would be somewhere down the road in my 40s or 50s, when it might be interesting to check back in on Dante and Randall. But I don't know about Jay and Bob so much, because at 45, leaning on a wall in front of a convenience store might be a little sad.
Yeah. Smith repeated the sentiment on one of the audio commentary tracks on the Clerks 2 DVD, to which Anderson jokingly replied,
"Oh, don't get me started."
Referring to Anderson's well-known doubts about making Clerks 2 when first approached by Smith. He refused to do it for like 2 years.
Why?
He didn't want to be typecast as Randall. Like he was just done with it.
This is like 3 decades later. You're not
gonna... No. This is 2006. So it was like 12 years later.
But it's not like your career was taking off, buddy. You know, like you had a bunch of choices. You weren't going out for Indiana Jones, pal.
Well, On October 1st, 2019, Smith confirmed on Instagram that Clerks 3 was happening and that Jeff Anderson finally agreed to reprise the role. He did the same thing. Literally, the movie would have been made earlier, but Jeff Anderson was like, no. Just every time he talked to Kevin Smith.
Diva.
The new script will follow Randall after surviving a heart attack and Dante making a movie about their lives at the store, a plot initially conceived as a film adaptation of Clerks, the animated series titled Clerks Sellout. Clerks 3 had its world premiere on September 4th, 2022 at the Count Basie Center for the Arts in Red Bank, New Jersey, and was released on September 13th, 2022 by Lionsgate and Fathom Events.
I had no idea that came out.
You know why? Because it wasn't widely released. Fathom Events, they do those like one-off things. I listened to an interview around the time it was coming out, and he had such a good time because he released, I think it was the Walrus movie that he made, Tusk.
Tusk, yeah.
Which
I enjoyed.
It was done. I did not. It was done as
like Justin Long.
It was done as like essentially a traveling sideshow. Like he did this thing where he would go to places and be there afterwards. Much like, it didn't follow traditional release, instead being a traveling roadshow, going to different theaters with Smith being at every screening to talk and answer questions. The idea was that you would pay more money because he would be there and interact with fans. And he did that for like a year. I mean, it went for a while, but
very cool.
How much money it actually made, I don't know. But it is now on Stars. If you have Stars, you can watch Clerks 3.
Everything good is on Stars.
I disagree with that, but there's a lot of stuff. It's only because you don't have it. It's always the things you don't have, Jim. Those are the things you want the most.
That's very true, Adam. Very, very true.
Much like Dante, who didn't want to be there.
Didn't want his girlfriend. He wanted the other girlfriend.
Yeah, until he realized too late, and then she broke up with him. And
like either of those girls would go after that milquetoast little turd.
Well, Clerks 2, he ends up getting
Rosario Dawson.
This
is just wish fulfillment for Kevin Smith.
Well, Kevin Smith, his wife was pretty hot. Like it was one of those like, wow, man.
Well,
he did good for himself. And then he had kids, and the kids are now in movies.
Yeah. Well, his wife was in Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh yeah,
Strike Back.
Yeah,
because I think if this is I think it was Jane's. Yes. So in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they hook up with these animal rights activists.
Yes.
One of them is from American Pie, the exchange student.
Shannon
Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth, yeah.
And then one of them is his wife, his actual wife.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So funny. All of the other movies beyond Clerks I've seen a number of times.
Yeah.
I was commenting to Jim yesterday when we were watching it, screening it, that I was like, this is the one movie I could talk about without watching it again.
Right.
Because I watched it so much.
I wish you would have told me before we watched it.
I know. But everything after that, all of them, Mallrats, Dogma, I think Mallrats I've seen twice.
Yeah.
But everything else I've only seen once.
Yeah, look, he's very hit or miss for me. And but the things that hit for me are misses for other people. So I get it.
Yeah.
I love Dogma. Haterade.
Yeah.
Verdict. Unfortunately, Haterade still.
It was so weirdly sad for me because I was like, oh man, Jim's actually might like this movie.
Yeah.
No, from the get-go.
It bothered me so much when I initially saw it.
This
it
is
angered
character
me.
development. That was the opening montage. Jim just looks at me and is like, this is all character development of him getting ready to go to work.
He wakes up in the closet. Oh, what a crazy guy. And he's got, picking out his dirty clothes like everybody does.
What was the point of that?
Just to show that he's quirky. And then to set up that this isn't going to be your father's comedy film.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really like Kevin Smith. This is difficult for me, right? Because it's not like Explorers, I mean, there were things about Explorers that Explorers I hate because of the third act and because of the choices they made.
Yeah.
This, I really like the filmmaker. I like some of the people in it. I like some of his subsequent films. I think he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a fun dude to listen to. But this movie, if you were of an age and an independent filmmaker or a striving independent filmmaker, I'm sure this movie, my reaction isn't the only one.
No,
I'm sure there's a lot of people that looked at this piece of crap and was like, this is what people want to see?
Yeah.
This is what makes it? And, sure, part of it's probably jealousy, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. I have to factor that in. But it just seemed to me that this lazy, below average filmmaker who, when you write enough dialogue, some of them is going to be clever with really bad actors, gets the keys to the kingdom when all these people that I know that have worked so hard and are really talented never even make it to the gate. And, that's just life in this business.
That's just it. Right place, right time.
But it also inspired a lot of really horrible filmmakers to make movies too, because you look at that movie and you're like, hell, I could do that.
Yeah.
But what he did, I will give, that it's remarkable.
Yeah.
That he took a crappy $26,000 initial budget, crappy, bad acting in a 2-shot, gabby, super dirty film with it's just a bunch of dick jokes and sex jokes and silly little things with dumb payoffs like selling a 4-year-old cigarettes. That is who Randall Graves is. He's a sociopath that sells knowingly. He didn't, because it looks like he's just kind of handing the cigarettes off, but he admits that he knew that girl was 4 years old when he sold her the cigarettes and got the guy the $500 fine. Stuff like that.
He literally spit in the face of a customer.
Spit in the face of a customer. I mean, he should have been shot. I would have liked to see him get shot. The guy that he spit on come back with a gun and be like, you spit in my face? Well, boom, boom, boom,
I'm
Randall.
Spit bullets in yours.
I'm not advocating violence in real life. I'm talking about celluloid violence.
Yeah.
But it viscerally angered me, this film. And apparently, as we learned with the Explorers as well, if you anger me as a film fan, I'm going to carry that grudge on for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Because I guess movies mean so much to me. I love movies so much that when something disappoints me in that way, it's I take it super personally. Because that's how much cinema has meant to me as a kid up through life. I know you're laughing at me, but it's
because everyone should make every movie for you.
Okay, good point. I get it,
but I also understand. It's like you wanted to like this movie, and you didn't. You couldn't. The movie could not do that for you.
I wanted to love this movie.
Yeah,
I heard about it. Oh, this guy made a movie for no money, and it's like it's getting. So I'm like, great, man. This will help. This will inspire me, like Quentin Tarantino inspired me. This is gonna and then you see it, and it just was like, my mouth was open the entire time. Like, what is this?
How did this earn a Miramax release?
Oh my God, and it because it is every student film, man. It is every student film. The acting is just exactly what you see in every student film. Just this stiff, bad porno acting where people don't know what words to hit. This is, let me have some cookies. Or, hey, is that, are those saltine crackers?
It's so funny because I cannot disagree with you, but I still love this movie. And I love this movie mainly because it is a time capsule of where we were as people in 1994.
This whole month, or part of this whole month, has been where you were at in your life when you saw the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because no matter where you're at in life, Explorers is a piece of shit. There's no like saving
it's
that.
Not a good movie.
That movie is probably the worst of the bunch in my opinion.
Yeah.
We noticed on Highlander.
Except for Highlander, yeah.
Right, but Highlander is the exact opposite of this, which is I saw it at a time which was perfect for me to see it, which gives me a, not a love, but a, you got a little nostalgia for it, a little hankering. It's something that I've always enjoyed watching with friends and making fun of.
Sure.
It's not something I would ever just I'm going to pop in Highlander and watch it alone.
I need to watch the sequels.
Exactly. For you to make a sequel for me, sword. But I, that again. So this, I 100% see being inspirational as a guy who wanted to make films and was still in high school. Like if I saw this when I was still making, every weekend, my friends and I, Laser Tag Larry, my friend Phil, shout out to Phil in Colorado if you listen, and Lasertag Larry. Sorry, that's your nickname. But we would, I had a unfinished room up above. The old man built the house, and we had this giant space
attic.
Well, not even an attic. It was an actual room that just needed carpeting and to be done. But I don't think it was up to code. There's something weird about it. But anyway, so before it got finished, we just had this space up there that I turned into a studio. I had a little table with my little, Sony 6-inch TV as a monitor, and I had the camera set up, and we had a fern and 2 chairs, and we did bits and sketches and skits. Or we would go out and we'd make a short film. Made Beaver the Cleaver, which was a horror movie about Leave It to Beaver, which was just bloody and awesome. But I get it, and if I saw that at that time, I would have been like, oh my God, I can do this.
Right.
This is, that guy did it. I can do it too, because he's just doing what I'm doing, making little make-em-ups. And, but after going through film school.
Right.
And working really hard to learn the craft and, busting your ass in an industry that's always going to be against you.
Right.
That's just the way it is until you get, the come on in from whomever's already in there. It's frustrating. And at that point in my life, in my early 20s, I was a hater. I was a lot. I hated a lot of stuff because of whatever reason. Because it was too emotional, or it was too this, or it was too that. Because I was a young sociopath, or I was an angry young man. Whatever it is. And I get that. And I get, part of that is probably
you were Randall, is what you're saying.
Oh my God, not that bad. Jesus. Bite your tongue.
I was much more Dante, but I think that's why I liked Randall so much, because I wanted to be more like Randall.
Well, that's us.
I was too much Dante.
You're Dante and I'm Randall.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm going to ruin your life and just not even care. No, man, I have empathy.
I know.
I just, and because I initially, the visceral response for that movie was just so negative. And again, after being inspired by Tarantino and then being completely let down. And I think it's the let down. Like, same thing with Boondock Saints. Everybody was like, "Oh, this movie's awesome, man. It's totally Tarantino." And I hated it. I thought it was the stupidest movie in the world.
It was so gratuitous.
Awful. It was the
exact opposite of Clerks. And that it was like, let's throw everything I can onto this screen.
Oh, it was just exhausting.
Anyway, that's actually the movie I hate.
Oh, we both put that. That could be Haterade, the sequel. But Kevin Smith is an anomaly in this business.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I do really respect about Kevin Smith is he has no illusions to who he is. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what he does. And I admire that. And I think that he has been able to have a 30-year career.
Yeah.
Constant. The guy's always working, whether it's podcasts or animation.
He's always doing
comic
something.
books, or movies. The guy is a creative force. And he has a super, super loyal fan base. And I think that is a testament to his work and stuff. And so, as I said, I am a big fan of Kevin Smith, the human. I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith, some of his movies.
Yeah.
But when I saw this when I was younger, I think I would love to get some feedback from this. If anybody is listening would like to email us at
GenXFilesPodcast@gmail.com
and let us know your thoughts on Clerks. If you were my age, and you saw it, or if you were Adam's age and saw, like, what you thought about it. And, we didn't even talk about the old man doing the Jackie Mason. Hey, give me the porno. Give me the thing.
Oh, there's so many scenes that we could dissect.
And the little girl, there's no point. Here, watch it if you want to watch it. I don't give an ass.
It's on Paramount Plus. Give it a watch. I still like the movie. I still appreciate it. I love it because it reminds me of my friend Damien.
Sure.
My best friend in high school, and how we would randomly drop lines from Clerks into conversations.
Of course. And I totally understand that. I don't begrudge you that. And I will acquiesce that I am probably in the minority on this.
Yeah.
And that, my rage toward this movie is just mostly like It's such a lazy movie. It is so lazy.
It is, but the difference between him and most other people that want to make movies is that he actually did it.
He did it.
I respect the man because he wanted to be a filmmaker, and he did it.
Oh, he did, and he's successful at it. And it's just, he's a hard worker, and he, you know...
He learned a lot from making Clerks.
I don't think anybody has ever really handed anything to him. I think he's had to, you know, he had a honeymoon period after Clerks where he got to make Mallrats, and he got to make... Chasing Amy, and then he made, I was going to say Gigli, but no, he made Jersey Girl.
Well, that was late. Yeah, but Dogma was his big one, and then he kind of leaned back into the Jay and Silent Bob stuff.
Well, it's also, and then, you know, he made that horrible movie with Ben Affleck and Jennifer.
The Jersey Girl, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you're going to be doing Jersey Girl too. With now that Ben Affleck and
Lopez are
back together. They're doing Jersey Girl 2.
Yeah, it's going to be called Jersey Girl 2 Munch Kings.
Oh, God. I hate Ben Affleck so much. And that's another thing that I will never forgive Kevin Smith for, is he was the one that perpetrated Ben Affleck upon us.
It wasn't him. You can blame Matt Damon for that.
Well... I like Matt Damon.
That was another one. I have no issue with Ben Affleck. He's not a great actor. He admits that he's not a great actor.
No,
he very much knows that he's like, whatever.
I give Ben Affleck a lot of crap. I just think he's kind of a douche. But, hey, he's had some decent... He's a good director. I like his...
he's a very good director.
I like his directing. I will give him that. And he's had a couple of decent acting.
Yeah. That's all I got. So let's wrap it up. Verdict... Haterade. Check the movie out. Watch it again. It's been a while. Check it out again. Maybe you'll hate it. Maybe you'll identify more with the older characters, like the guy returning the tape, who still was kind of a dick, but like he at least had a point. It was like, look, the store's supposed to be open. It's not open.
Okay, I just got to get this out real quick. The worst is when Randall is sitting on the counter of the video store, reading a newspaper, sitting on the counter, while this woman comes up. He's like, which one is better? That's all that was her crime.
Yeah.
Asking for his opinion. She wasn't a bitch about it.
No.
She wasn't horrible. No. She turned mean because he is an insufferable piece of shit.
And he had to point that out to her.
Oh, my God.
That she had to go to his level.
I would have punched him. If I had to
There's at least 4 times in this movie I would have punched him.
Oh, my God. The spitting in the face.
Yeah.
The telling the girlfriend.
What's the name of the cat? Annoying customer. Oh, I would have slapped him.
You know.
We learned from the end of the movie he can't fight for shit.
No. Well, neither of them can. They're just a couple of. And it's just like. Anyway, so in my opinion, if you haven't seen this movie, don't bother. There's a lot better Kevin Smith movies to watch.
I say give it a try again. If you haven't seen it in a long time, give it a try again. Maybe you'll become like Jim and hate everything. But
okay, if you didn't like it when you first saw it, don't bother because you're not going to like it again.
Yeah, that's
I did seriously, no joke, wanted to like this movie and thought, okay, it's been 30 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen his other movies. I like Kevin Smith.
Right.
You know, this isn't just this new douchebag out of nowhere that made this movie. Got to know him, respect him, like him. Really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
That's it for our Haterade month. We'll be back next week with our Stepdad show.
It's been exhausting.
We got a few things we need to correct. We're starting a new segment called Old Man's Correction Corner.
Yes, we made
because man, I messed up a whole lot of stuff in the last 3 episodes.
Oh man, we besmirched our good friend Greg.
We'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah,
I feel bad. Sorry, Greg. early, like he was so mad.
I don't blame him. That's like pinning a murder on somebody. How dare you?
All right. Well, enjoy your week. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, baby. Haterade. Hate it. All right. Enough of this bullshit. Let's make a show.
All right. Let's do it. Taylorville War Memorial. Sorry.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Square Pegs. Already in progress.